What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Two Game Podcast, where I am breaking down each and every episode of the Penguin series on HBO Max. And we are here to break down episode 3. So I'm a little bit behind. I understand that. I'm trying to play catch up, guys. If you like what we're doing here and you want to consider supporting us, there's a link down below to our Patreon. We would greatly appreciate it if you went there and supported us. That would help expand and improve the podcast. But without further ado, guys, let's jump into episode 3 of The Penguin. So I'm going to recap it and then I'm going to give you my overall thoughts of episode 3, which is called Bliss. So in flashbacks, Victor is left orphaned after the seawall explosion drowns his family. And you finally see some of the scenes from the Batman. You know, what happened to the people on the streets that were dealing with the chaos, not just what was Batman doing the entire time. We finally get some different perspectives. It kind of reminded me of when Batman v Superman came out, and it gave us the perspective of Bruce Wayne watching the fight between Superman and Zod. It kind of gave me those little vibes for sure. This was done really, really well, I think. So Victor he's a good character, okay? He's a really good character, and I think they've done a good job of making us care for that character within 2 episodes. So typically, I'm not a fan of flashback episodes so early on in a season. It was one of my big complaints with The Last of Us, how they it wasn't necessarily a flashback sequence, but they diverted attention away from the story and went elsewhere. And in this case, we went backwards and we're kind of getting a little bit more character development and backstory on Victor. And I was 100% down for this. With 2 episodes, they have made us absolutely care for his character. So when he's on top of that roof with his girlfriend and they're, talking back and forth, and he sees the seawall, the rush of water going towards his apartment where his family is, where he just got into an argument with his dad, it was like that shit just hit you right in the feels, and I absolutely loved it. I thought they did all that really, really well. I thought the special effects for that sequence was really, really great. It legitimately looked like a big budget movie, the way that it looked, and I thought they did a great job of that. So in the present, Sophia introduces Oz to a new drug that was used on her and the other inmates of Arkham. Oz names it Bliss, and together they make a pitch to the Triads to help distribute the Bliss. But they refuse to do business with them unless they gain the support of VD. Now, I know I've said this on the previous 2 reviews of the series, but I'm going to say it again. I swear, every scene that has Sophia in it is absolutely fantastic. That actress is just commanding the scene every single time. And to me, if you would have asked me going into this series who I thought would have really stole the show, I was going to tell you, oh, it's going to be the Penguin, no doubt. Like, he was great in The Batman, and Penguin is going to be amazing. Colin Farrell was going to be amazing in this TV series. And to me, I don't know. I'd have to put it right. I've had to put Sophia right above him in terms of who is just my favorite character up to this point, 3 episodes in. And what's so great about Sophia is, and I've mentioned this previously, she looks like she's like 5 seconds away from just snapping someone's neck. Like, she looks like she's legitimately on the edge of having a mental breakdown and just killing everybody. And I think that's a testament to the acting for sure. But I love what they're doing with her character here, where she's just laying down the law. And, Oz thinks they're kind of like equals in this partnership, but Sophia frequently reminds him that she's the OG, okay? She's the boss, not him. And Oz is trying so hard to get ahead of her, but he just keeps getting put down every single time. So Oz and Sophia blackmail VD into giving them support by catching him having sex with Luca's wife and threatening to expose him. After he reluctantly gives them his support, the Triads enter into business with Oz and Sophia. And meanwhile, Victor is torn by his desire to leave Gotham with his girlfriend in pursuit of a better life, or staying with Oz to potentially become rich and powerful. He also fears that Oz will kill him if he tries to desert him. And when Oz learns of Victor's intentions, he admits he genuinely respects him and allows him to leave. And Victor chooses Oz over his girlfriend and returns to him, only to find he and Sophia held up by the Maronis, who have all of a sudden realized Oz's duplicity. And before a hitman can execute Oz, Victor deliberately crashes into the hitman and he escapes with Oz. But Sophia is abandoned to her fate with the Maronis. So overall, really, really enjoyed this episode. Again, I'm not a huge fan of when a TV series starts doing a flashback or diverting attention to another character or whatever. I'm usually not a fan of that. But I thought they did this really, really well. They didn't do a whole flashback episode. They flashback, gave us some character development of Victor, kind of where he was before Penguin showed up. It kept me invested. And honestly, I love his character even more now, knowing some of his backstory and the fact that he is a conflicted character at this point, where he is torn between his desire to become rich and powerful. Because if you look at the very beginning of this episode, that was kind of something that him and his dad was arguing about. It's like, if you had an opportunity to make more money, why don't you? And his dad is just plain and simple. Well, I mean, if you know where we came beforehand, then you know this is plenty for us. And he just doesn't see eye to eye with his dad on that. So he's torn between that aspect of becoming rich and powerful and then living a good, happy life with his girlfriend that he loves. And then if you look at it from a different perspective, he's torn between two different relationships, his girlfriend and then Oz. And then Oz is obviously the rich and powerful aspect that he's kind of struggling with. And I think deep down, he does really like Oz, and he's growing to care for Oz as well, because again, Oz is right there to have his back whenever he needs it. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Oz sees a lot of himself in Victor. He sees that Victor wants more, Oz wants more, and they're both kind of handicapped in a way. So to me, I feel like Oz just sees a lot of himself in Vic, and that's kind of why he's taken him under his wing up to this point and kind of becoming like a father figure to him. And I do want to say that final scene of this episode where he is talking with Sophia, where she finally gets him to admit that he fucked her over and getting her sent to Arkham. And deep down, he doesn't regret it. He's not upset by it. He hates that she had to be a victim of that, but he loves what he has. It's more than he ever imagined he would have. So the fact that she finally gets, I don't want to say some clarity or some closure in that aspect. It seems like she was kind of surprised by it in this particular scene. And then we get a little note that Oz isn't even a main man in this. He's just some regular guy. He used to be the driver for Sophia. And I think that's really interesting because up to this point, I thought he was not necessarily a high-level gangster, but much higher than what he is right now. And from what Sophia is alluding to, he's just the scum of the earth, basically, when it comes to his level in the mob. And what was really funny is Sophia wonders and she asks him, how can I trust you? How do I move forward and how do I trust you? And Oz straight up says, we're going to have to take it step by step. I'm going to show you how to trust me. And then legitimately 5 seconds later, the Maronis show up and she straight up just admits that he's been lying this entire time. And again, that goes back to, and I mentioned this on like the last 2 reviews, where there's some dark humor woven throughout this series. And this is one of those moments where it's just like, it's perfect, ironic timing that he's talking about trust, and then the Maronis show up and they're like, why have you been lying to us? And it is just pitch perfect. But guys, 3 episodes in, loving the series so far. This is exceeding my expectations of what this show was. I'm not going to lie, I went into it with a little bit lower expectations just because, and I mentioned this on my last review, where these types of things just don't hold up that well because they're missing the titular character, Batman, in this series. So how good can it really be? But I think out of all the villains that they could have done, the Penguin was the best choice for his own series. And so far, so good. They are exceeding my expectations for it. And I am loving this series so far. But guys, let me know in the comments below of what you thought about episode 3 and who's your favorite character up to this point. And then while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. That would really help us out, and I would really appreciate it. And in the description below, there's links to all of our social media accounts where you can also go like, follow, subscribe, do all that bullshit. It would really help us out. But guys, that's going to be it for me. I'll catch y'all next time on another episode. Laters.